Hey everybody, welcome back to the MMMORE podcast. Myself, Nicholas, and a very special guest we're excited to announce. It's going to be our guy, Corey, who you might know as Marvel Years, everyone.
What's up, y'all?
All right. Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, Corey's going to be performing at the Lost Coast Festival. We're so excited to have him here to spread the word and honestly hear a little bit more about you. And unfortunately, Lost Coast has been delayed because of the hurricane that, swept through Florida, but we hope everybody is all right there and whatnot. But the festival will return. And Corey, you're going to be there?
I'll be there for sure.
Fantastic.
Headlining the event, yes.
Headlining the event, right. That's incredible. And how long has Lost Coast been putting on the festival down in Key West? Do you know, Nick?
The first one was, I believe, in April, and then they did one I think it went April, May, June. And then because I think they wanted to make this one a little bigger and more more stuff going on, they pushed it back till October from the last one was in June, but of course, because of the hurricane. So, but they've been on a roll. I mean, every single event has been a great time, and it's just crazy to see that. I love that festival energy in industry coming down to Key West. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like they were kind of doing it, each month and then getting bigger each and every time. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make it to one. Me and Nick used to actually live down in Key West together, but I live up in Boca Raton now.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
But you stay in New York, Corey?
Yeah, I live in New York right now. Yep.
And how's that go for you?
It's going pretty good. I moved here right when COVID hit, so it was a little weird, but it's back to normal now. So yeah.
That's good.
Do you live close to Manhattan or just New York State?
I live in Manhattan. I don't know, you'll probably hear some sirens going off or something in the background. But yeah, I moved here March 2020, so I've been chilling for a little bit.
Wow, literally right when COVID hit. Did the lockdown happen before you moved in, or
dude? No, I moved in February 28th. I flew to Denver to play a show on March 8th, and I flew back, and 2 days later, we're on lockdown, and it was just
Did you know anybody when you moved there? Did you move there to be with friends, family, or was it just kind of what you needed to progress with your career?
Yeah, I moved in with my girlfriend here, but luckily I knew friends who lived here. My old roommate from LA that I used to live with moved here right when I did, so I had a little buddy system, kind of keep me sane during COVID.
That's important, truly, especially in a new place where you can't just go out and meet people naturally and organically during that time. But obviously
getting yelled at for doing that during COVID. So.
Seriously, yeah. I felt that too, but obviously I was kind of in we were in not such a big city of New York where obviously I feel like they were a lot more strict and took that.
Yeah, you were in the heart of it all. I can't even imagine or comprehend really just the chaos and energy that was going on during COVID, especially right in that moment in March, Yeah,
it got kind of crazy for a couple months.
But you said you went to perform in Colorado?
Yeah, I played in Denver.
Yeah. Did you play at Red Rocks?
I did. I think that one was Cervantes in Denver. But yeah, I did that show and then flew back and then, kind of on lockdown. It was kind of cool for a little bit though, It's that
right.
That Will Smith movie, I Am Legend, where it's just skating through the middle of the city, no cars,
Yep.
It was kind of nice to decompress a little bit.
Yeah, truly. I think everyone needed a little bit of a break, but it really depended on how you use that time. Did you use it to, start a creative endeavor, to start a project, to do those type of things, or did you just kind of waste that opportunity, to build something? I feel good about how I spent that time, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Same. I mean, during that time, I felt like Ryan, for you and I, we just became more self-aware of who we are and what we liked doing, because we had so much time to do stuff. We just were all right, we're going to do what we like to enjoy. And that gave us the opportunity to start traveling, moving to Florida and then us, traveling to other places and then ended up in Key West. So I think that, like you said, COVID either really brought people down, you know what I mean? And they got stuck and scared and lived in fear, or they just kind of for us, our growth just catapulted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of felt the same way, man. It was more of an introspective period. It was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do it like musically, but like also like with my life, like, and like I wrote a lot of music, like this whole EP I'm putting out, like I wrote most of it during COVID. We did live streams, and I also like traveled and stuff, which was cool. So it was nice to like have a little break from touring to kind of like focus on yourself, both like personally and like professionally. So yeah, it lasted a little longer than I anticipated, but
Yeah, I
like
think everyone. Yeah.
it was still nice for a little bit, at least, to like kind of chill out off the road for a little bit.
Yeah, and how taxing is touring on your mentality and your physical body? Like, I mean, are you taking a bus, a plane? Like, how does touring look for you? And also, how do you keep up like with all of it, especially when you're performing? You're exerting so much energy with giving this amazing sound and producing this music to the crowd. Like, how do you keep your energy high and make sure that you can deliver each and every time?
Yeah, I think like what I learned recently is eating healthy. Like it never dawned on me until the past couple of years, like touring. Like if you're eating like crap food all the time, you're just gonna be tired and like if you're getting drunk every night, like you're gonna wake up hungover, and then you're having like Dairy Queen for breakfast or something. It's not sustainable for like 4 or 5 months straight.
Yeah.
So I've been like trying to eat healthier, like not drink nearly as much, and then just like it's definitely easier flying, I feel like, unless you have like early flights, which I try not to do. But like if you're in a van for like a month, it could definitely be like mentally and physically exhausting for sure.
Right. Definitely. And for something that came to my mind while you were saying all that is like energy drinks. I know like some people like really rely on energy drinks and stuff like that. First question is, do you actually enjoy energy drinks? And
I don't like, I'll drink a Red Bull before I go on, but like, dude, my thing on tour is like I need a coffee.
A coffee.
Like just no one talk to me until I have my coffee. I need like 30 minutes to like wake up, and then I'm good. But like if I don't get coffee, like just fucks my whole day up,
Yeah.
So like, that's like my main thing when I'm on tour.
Gotcha.
I think what I want to touch on too about the eating healthy thing. I'm sure like not only does that enable you to give the crowd a better performance, but just enjoying the show yourself and that high that you experience, like having that good food in you and that nutrition and that energy just probably elevates your own experience and the way you feel about performing as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and dude, the crowd will recognize when you're not feeling good,
Yeah.
Like they pick up on that. So it's really important to like try and live as normally as you can on tour, whether it's eating right or, having like fresh clothes on, fresh shower, getting like a snooze in the afternoon or something, nap. Because like the crowd will definitely recognize that, and it does take away from the energy of your show. So that's like a really important aspect.
I was actually wondering this the other day, thinking about my first concert and how that impacted me. What was your first concert that you ever went to?
Shit.
And do you know how old you were? Like,
man, I think it was an AC/DC concert.
Wow. Okay.
Word. That's
like,
what's up.
I was like, man, I don't know, 11, 12
Yeah.
or something like that. In middle school. I think that was like the first concert I ever went to, man.
Wow.
And then, the second concert was like RJD2. And after I saw him, I was like, I want to start making music.
Okay, so that was the concert that really inspired you and like moved you. Obviously, AC/DC has that effect as well, because I see you've done all kinds of mixes with classic rock, and I think that's so cool to kind of mix those two worlds of, the electronic soul and then the classic rock, and bring those two worlds together. And I just think that's incredible, and bringing two different genres together. And I really enjoyed the Gimme Shelter remix that you did. That one is incredible, I have to say. But
Corey, at 5A, I was gonna say, so for myself anyways, like I like to do my graphic design. That's kind of like my creative outlet. And as I'm going to festivals, I'm finding that I just really like to dance and move my body and just like kind of express myself in that way. And in doing that, obviously, like I tried different creative outlets. I tried to make music. I tried to do other certain things in which I, just to use that creative outlet. What challenges do you think you faced, and like what roadblocks in like when you face a challenge in learning music? For instance, like I tried and I'm just like, that's a whole nother language to me. Like that's just like crazy. So how, when you are learning something or in your creative process, did you motivate yourself to keep going or keep, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm supposed to do, no matter how hard it is right now. What keeps you, you know, making music and stuff, you know?
I mean, when I was learning how to produce, I think what kept me going in terms of like producing when I was learning is I had like a teacher in my high school who kind of would push me, and for me personally, I would see him do things and be like, man, like I don't know what I'm doing yet, but like I will figure this out. You know, like I had that like mentality when it came to producing. And then also just like asking for help whenever I could, man. You know, like I knew people who produce music. And even now, like I'll still ask for help from other producers if I'm like trying to figure something out or something. Like Manic Focus has been like a huge like mentor for me musically. But it's just like the drive I have is like I know I can figure this out. I just need to like put in the work, and it's not like I'll never learn it. You know, like eventually I'm gonna fucking get it down. That might come from guitar playing too. I don't know, because like when I'm trying to learn songs, like at the beginning I'll be like, "This is impossible. I'm never gonna learn this." And then like a week later, like I'll know how to play it. So I think it might stem from that a little bit as well. I don't know.
How old were you when you learned how to play guitar?
I think I was 10. Yeah,
Wow.
my parents got me my first guitar when I was 10. It's right here.
That is so awesome.
There it is.
The OG.
Nice.
The OG.
That's incredible, dude.
So do you leave that guitar just to, or do you like to take that guitar on tour and play with that one as well?
Stays there. That stays there, man. I used to play with that thing like tour. So like I brought it on stage at Red Rocks, retired it after that. I was
Okay,
like, yeah,
that's amazing.
You chill there, never getting rid of it. I will die with that guitar. I love that thing.
Certainly, yeah. And what was it like at Red Rocks, like performing in front of all those people and, you know, just being in that atmosphere where Red Rocks is like a legendary venue, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming, I would say. But it's like exciting too, you know, exciting. Yeah. But I think the thing about Red Rocks too is like from the stage, you know, you're like looking up at everybody. So everybody's you. So it's almost like the spotlight is like even greater on you, you know, because everybody's like looking down at you, and the sound just reverberating off the rocks is it's just a crazy feeling, man.
Yeah, I saw the Grateful Dead there in 2019, I think, and it was a really, really special special moment. But
I just can't imagine like the high of just being in the center of Red Rocks or really any venue and just absorbing all of that energy and then just putting that out to the crowd and just controlling them and manipulating their movements. You're literally like throwing a people around physically with sound waves. Just amazing.
Man, I've talked to artists who've played it too, and we were all like, man, we like blacked out when we're on stage. Like I can't remember like playing basically. Like I don't have any like vivid memories of like being on stage. You just like go into blackout period.
That is nuts, truly. So we covered the Red Rocks, which I love because I lived in Keystone, Colorado for some time. I lived there for a year, and I mean it was, you know, maybe an hour away. So we were always trying to get out there whenever we could. But
Corey, when you're making music and like, let's say you have like a scheduled time in which you make music, do you kind of use it as like for instance, Eminem always talked about like, or in interviews, he's like, I get up at 9, I go to work at 9, I leave at 5. I work, you know what I mean? That's how he went about his creative process making music. So what's kind of like your process in making music look like? And then when you get a creative block, what do you do for yourself to get yourself in that mindset to make music?
I think it depends on if I'm touring or not. Like when I'm not touring, I usually wake up. I try and make as much music as I can before like the mid-afternoon. You know, so I'll wake up, have breakfast, coffee, just start going, because that's when I'm like that's when my brain is going the fastest, I feel like. But then, you know, off tour, whenever I can, you know, like airplanes, hotel rooms, or even when I'm back home for a couple of days, I'll try and bust some shit out. But I definitely try and keep a schedule. You know, especially having a girlfriend too, like she gets home from work later at night, so I want to chill with her. So I try and bang out as much music throughout the day as I can. So that type of thing. And then creative block, like my biggest thing is like whenever I'm in a creative block, I kind of just go like for instance, like in the city, I'll skate through like the park or something, kind of just like clear my head. And I'll just like listen to a bunch of music on Spotify, and that always like seems to help out, like just get me out of a funk, like real quick.
Yeah.
For sure,
You know?
just do stuff that makes you feel good. Be in nature.
Yeah.
Go skateboard and listen to some music. You get in that groove, you know, and then you start thinking of ideas, and you know.
Yeah, and being active too, you know, like not just like sitting there staring at your computer and be like, what the fuck am I gonna write? Like walk out, you know, to be active, like get your body moving, get your brain flowing, you know, it like helps a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that's important to take yourself outside of just what you're focusing on. Is like, how does the inspiration manifest? Like a certain song, like, do you kind of have an idea? Okay, like this is what I want the song to be about, or this is what I want it to be like, and then it just manifests on its own, or is there like a specific like outline in which you write the music?
No, man, not really. It's kind of just like whenever I get something in my head, like on this new EP, it comes out on Friday. I have a song called Lexington Ave, and it's named after the street, like right here. I was just skateboarding down it one day, and I just like came up with this like riff in my head while I was skating, and then I just named the track after it. So it's like, it's weird, man. You know, I get a lot of inspiration, like just when I'm just thinking, like in the shower, dude, I'll come up with songs. You know, I'd like run out and run to my computer and like just kind of record something real quick.
Yeah.
It just happens at weird times, you know.
Mhm.
And then other times, you know, when you don't really have a specific idea, you kind of just start with like a drum loop or something, you know, and then just
Right.
like and on guitar or something until you get something cool.
I could probably imagine, like, as you're doing certain things through the day, like, because you're so like trained to recognize sounds and like different, like, I guess melodies and stuff. Like if you like set something on the table and you hear something roll by, and then you kind of like put two and two together, you're like, huh, these kind of, you know.
Right. Somebody drops their keys in the distance. You're like,
You're like, oh, I could use that kind of thing. Yeah. For
Dude,
sure.
I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I closed my window like last year or something, and it made the coolest sound. And I was like, holy shit, that'd be a sick drop. And I like tried to write it, like recreate it my song, dude.
That's awesome.
But yeah, but I mean, even my girlfriend like now will know, like when I get an idea, like she'll see me run across the apartment like to my computer. She's like,
Yeah.
record.
You're like, he's got something. He's got something in there.
Does she make music as well, or is there like, does she help you with you know, talk through some of your ideas and stuff like that? Like, how is that support and how important is that to you?
It's good. Like, it gives you like a second ear because she'll listen to some of my stuff and she'll tell me what she likes, what she doesn't like. Kind of give it like an outsider's perspective, because when you're writing, working on a song all day, you can get tunnel vision like really easy. So it's nice to like have a second opinion every once in a while.
I think for sure. And yeah, it kind of, yeah, it can give you that second ear.
Looking at something from a different perspective can just always give you different ideas. And like, I feel like as well, like you said, with that second opinion, if you get that tunnel vision and you're only focused on what you want, then your ideas aren't growing or changing or evolving. So therefore, you know, that's the whole point in which I believe in my creative outlets. You know, like I'm always willing to grow or change the idea, because at first it might not always be what I want it to be in the beginning, you know, but I think that's the beauty of it, is that the unexpected manifestation of it is beautiful, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Totally. I agree with that. And you got to keep innovating and changing, you know, you can't just keep doing the same thing every day. You know, after a while it gets stale. So like any creator is going to want to innovate and push farther, you know, expand the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. And on expanding the boundaries, what are things you do outside of music, you know, besides skating and that kind of stuff that kind of can keep you not just so tunnel vision on the music and still let you breathe and you know, live life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, going home to Vermont, that's where my parents live.
Right.
You know, seeing my dog, I go snowboarding there. Just doing like normal activities that everybody else does every once in a while will like really help, like kind of center you back, you know, and it'll help you a lot, especially with like writer's block too. You know, like just doing some shit like that will really help.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a lab. He's like a lab pointer mix.
Nice.
Just some rescue.
Just some rescue. Hey, those are honestly, those always turn out to be the best, most loyal, loving dogs. Seriously.
Yeah, he's the best, dude. He's such a good boy. I love him.
Yeah, my mom's a dog groomer, and she actually rescued one of the dogs that came in there after she gave it a grooming, and it ended up coming home with her. So
nice. There you
It's
go.
crazy to see the personality shift in it too, because at first it was so scared because it was abused, and then
Mhm.
the love that they have showed it and like the difference in its life, you can just see in its face. Like it was scared to come out to humans, and now it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
love,
now it just wants love and to cuddle and stuff like
I
that.
know, man. Yeah.
Animals are honestly incredible. I love not only dogs, but even like I think just like how animals can bring you outside of the human perspective. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like loving an animal and caring for an animal can take you outside of the human aspect of life and just, to me at least,
I think it
I love
like
animals.
frees you of like worry and anxiety in a sense where it's like these animals, like a squirrel or a cat or like just and a bird. Like, what do they have to do besides like just eat, breathe, sleep, and live? It's kind of like with us, we have so much going on, and that's the duality of just like our higher consciousness is we can do like so many crazy, amazing things. But just seeing the animal just hanging out and chilling and being present, it's like, okay, that it's grounding. Because we are animals at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they're not worried about bills. They're not worried about your TV show that comes on at 9 p.m. or whatever it is. Like I guess it just helps me like understand that I'm like making things more difficult than they need to be sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, it kind of just brings you back to like the simplicity of life when you really get down to it, man.
Yeah, truly. I
But
wonder what.
go ahead, Ryan, as you were saying.
I wonder what happens like for instance during that hurricane down in Florida. Like where do they go? Do they just
Yeah,
dig a hole?
where's the community of roosters hide? Like they are gonna get wiped out by them hurricanes.
Straight
I
up.
saw videos of dudes like rescuing cats and shit. That was like a feel good video I saw the other day.
Yeah, but down in Key West, like there's the roosters and the chickens running all through the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Somebody
Those
should just
dino iguanas that appear.
yeah, literally.
That'd be crazy. But Marvel, another thing I wanted to kind of dive into is, growing up, what was your religious or spiritual background like, and how have you used that and your beliefs to influence your art or just your daily life? And how have you transitioned to maybe what you used to believe into what you believe now?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, my mom is like, my mom's whole family's from New Jersey. So they were kind of, New Jersey Christian type stuff. So I went to Sunday school, all that. It didn't work for me. So I moved to Vermont, and Vermont, I don't know, Vermont's very like free spirited. I feel like a lot of the people in Vermont. So that kind of like shaped me growing up. And I don't know. I was just, I'm not really like a very spiritual dude per se. I spiritual in the sense that like I'm really into like space and everything like that, and
Really?
the universe and all that shit. So in the sense like that can be spiritual, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, it's kept me grounded. It's worked for me so far, man. In terms of like, just personally music,
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
we're all just stardust, man. So
Stardust.
We're all
I
just
swear.
stardust. Yep.
Yeah, literally.
you guys see the wait? Did you guys lived in Key West a couple of years ago? That's what you said.
I lived there a couple months ago. Nick still currently lives there.
Yeah, I moved down there at the end of December, and then I live there now. But I did live in Key. We lived in Key Largo starting in November of 2020, and that's kind of like when we started traveling.
Nice.
But
Yeah, we were doing seasonal work where I mean, you can get a job literally anywhere. You just have to go to a website like coolworks.com. They have job listings in every single state. So that's exactly what we did. We found one in Key Largo, Florida, and we went down there and met some incredible people. We're able to build a community and just have fun and work. And then the season ends, and then you pick up your life's work and you go somewhere new. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the past 4 years. Nick has gotten into it recently, as well as some of our other friends, and we're kind of just able to travel and be a good, strong like community of people everywhere we go.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, that's the one thing I noticed down in like Conrad's house, down in the Keys. Like the sense of community down there is really strong. I really like that. But do you guys like so do you ever see like the rocket launches from like where you are? Can you like
I
see them?
haven't seen them, but I heard they postponed the one that was supposed to happen because of
Yeah,
the hurricane.
I saw that too. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So wait, is it like a rocket launch? Is that like at the naval base or something, or like where do they do those?
That's at Kennedy. So I don't know where Kennedy is like specifically.
Okay.
I'm
Florida,
not
Kennedy
sure.
Space Center.
But I'm telling you what, we see like, I mean, we don't see rockets, but we see those like fighter jets and those cargo planes flying over the hotel and the marina all the time.
Oh,
Like, I
shit.
swear to God, it's very hard to get like an hour of quiet without a giant plane flying over the marina. Sometimes
And-
I feel like I don't even notice them anymore just because it's just so routine.
And down there in the Keys, there's less light pollution, so you can look up and really see like the stars and look out into space and like see it very well.
Yes.
Which also I was able to do in Keystone, and I mean, at one point we were out camping just in the mountains, and you look up, and literally you could see like the Milky Way. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But we're also desensitized because of light pollution. Like, you know, if you're in New York, for instance, I mean, there's just so much light that it's, you know, turning off your instinctual night vision. So you can't look up and see like all the details in the stars and such like that.
Yeah, dude, it messes with your like mind too. I feel like, because like when I'm here, like I won't go to bed till like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
but then I'll go up to my parents in Vermont where it's just like dark, nothing going on, no noises, and I'm in bed by like 11:30. You know, it's like super weird.
Yeah, no, truly. And I mean, you're in the city that never sleeps, so that makes
Yep,
sense.
that's true.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you enjoy musicals and going to maybe, have you been to any Broadway shows while you've been living in New York?
I haven't been to any Broadway since I moved here. I saw a couple when I was like younger. But I don't know, man. Like this year, I never really bought tickets to concerts in my life. But like this year, I've seen like, man, a bunch of shows. So that's one thing I've been like taking advantage of, especially after COVID. They start letting shows happen here. Yeah, like I just saw Rage Against the Machine like a month ago.
That's cool.
Saw Lettuce play. Yeah, it's been really fun, man. I've been going out a lot more, I'd say.
And that's not at a festival. That's just like a concert, correct?
Yeah, yep, just concerts in the city.
But even with you being involved in these festivals recently and stuff like that, are you still able to enjoy like the other half of a festival, like not being an artist and just go out and have fun, and you're still able to kind of be in that energy field?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's actually like one of my favorite things about playing the festivals, man, is checking out all these artists.
Yeah.
I'll chill all day. Sometimes I'll chill for the whole weekend and just kind of watch the show. Like Halloween, like I'll do that, like stay the whole weekend, and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Halloween is definitely on the list, being in Florida. There's a ton of different festivals, like in the middle of Florida. Like you got Tampa, there's some in Tampa, Orlando, EDC, Sunset. There's a new one, I think, in St. Petersburg. It's called Odyssey Music Festival, too.
Nice.
There's a ton of them. Yeah, Halloween, though. I went to a Escape Halloween in San Bernardino, and it was kind of like, I just called it like a Halloween EDC because Insomniac puts it on, and it's just like so cool just to see everyone dressed up and being there. Just that's why I love the festivals. It's just everyone just expressing their full authentic energy and just like being weird, and just it feels so good.
Yeah, it's like liberating, man. You can like be yourself, without like being judged at all. It's like really liberating experience, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like for someone who never knew it was okay to just let go and be yourself, to be in that environment where everyone's just authentically themselves and is no judgment. Exactly, liberating is precisely the word that I would use, of like, like all of the judgment and how things are supposed to be in like normal life out in society don't apply here, and this is how it should be. Even out in normal society, it should just be a non-judgmental space. So it really opened my eyes, and like my girlfriend's eyes. Like she had never been to a festival, so she went to Spunfest and she saw all these people being their whole genuine selves, and she found it like, okay, like I am in a space where I can be myself. And so it was just really captivating for her in that sense. And a lot of growth had happened. So I love it, man. And that's what I was saying at the beginning, is how, I'm getting more and more into these festivals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But where is like your where do you see you taking your music in like the near future, or even just as you keep progressing throughout your career? Like, what are some maybe like bigger goals you would like to see yourself accomplish? Like, because I mean, it's never really done, I suppose. You know, you're never really just like satisfied, like, oh, I finished that goal, that's it. You know,
Mhm.
but what do you see yourself doing in the future?
I think like musically speaking, I want to do more guitar based shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make the guitar more of a focal point, kind of like a 2 feet type of thing, but like more electronic.
That's awesome.
And so like I want to put out an album next year, so I'm going to be working on that over the next couple months, try and wrap that up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I want to do full headline tour, like national headline tour. I think that'd
Yeah.
be really sick. Would like I could choose my own support, like the own artists I want to travel
Okay.
with, have my own production, like all that stuff. It's just like manifesting this idea into reality is like my main goal right now, especially for next year.
And when you're designing a tour, like where you're actually going location wise, does it go based off of like the feedback you get from the people, or is it like places you would like to go?
It's a little bit of both. I'd say it's more feedback from the people and also like venue and promoters, like who will have you.
Okay.
And then like the actual routing, it's more, logistics and shit. It's like, well, what makes sense? Like where can
Right.
you go the next night that isn't like a 10-hour drive or something?
Okay.
But yeah, like fan input is huge for artists, especially like smaller artists like me. Like fan input, talking to your promoters, like telling them you want a certain artist, like that goes a really long way for artists like me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And another question that was on my mind: did you ever have like a day job outside of music? Like, and what was it?
Yeah, man, I was a dishwasher. Um, what else did I do? Bus tables, did construction.
Yeah.
Might have been it. Yeah, but I think on my Facebook it still says I'm a dishwasher.
That's great.
Pretty
That's
sure it's still
awesome.
in there.
Honestly, leave it like that. It adds a whole humor comedy aspect to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it says dishwasher at Marvel Years. I just kept that in there.
That's awesome. And so your name, Marvel Years, how did that come to fruition? How did you decide on that to be how you would like to be represented?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it used to be. Well, I started out as Wonder Years, and
Okay.
like I was like 18 when I came up with the name, and I was just thinking like, man, like this. I was kind of thinking of what I should do with the music, like if I should really pursue it or not, or if I should just go to college, get a degree, get like a day job. And then I thought to myself, like, these are like the years that like I'm gonna wish I did something like this. Like I'm gonna be looking back at these years when I'm like 50, and I want to be like proud that at least like I tried to do something.
Certainly.
So like I kind of just coined it like these are like the wonder years, like where I'll figure myself out and figure out what I want to do. And then there was a band called the Wonder Years and the TV show. So
Oh yeah.
I just changed it. And Wonder and Marvel kind of mean the same thing. So I just like went with Marvel.
That's incredible. I really like that. Truly. I didn't know if Marvel had something to do with space as well. Does the word Marvel have any connection to space?
I mean, yeah, you can marvel. I marvel at space all the time, man. So like, it has something to do with it. And everybody's like, oh, you love the comic books, I guess, huh? Like,
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah, you probably get that all the time. Dang.
Yeah, like I like
Fair enough.
him and shit. I like Iron Man and shit like that. So yeah.
That's cool.
So what artists? I know you mentioned Manic Focus. What other artists have you worked with? Or what artists would you really like to work with and mesh sounds together? Do you have anything working? What's going on with that?
Yeah, man, I've worked with a bunch of artists. Worked with like Balcom Bump was a really cool one. Did a song for him last year. Jason Leach just did one this year, so that was really cool. I'd like to work with, obviously some bigger artists. Closey would be cool. Boogie T would be really sick, I think, just because we play guitar. But I want to start in the future. I want to start working with like more kind of left field type shit. Not really in my musical realm.
Yeah, expand that horizon.
Expand the horizons. I feel like some of the dopest collabs have come from when two artists from totally different genres, or they kind of like mesh. Like the Black Eyed Peas, like for example, like they just like singer, hip hop artists, like put them together and they come up with hits. Like shit like that. I think would be really cool in the future.
That's
incredible. I try to live by the mantra. One of my mantras is an entrepreneur is someone who puts two things that are unrelated and gives them a relationship, because they just don't exist. So just by you taking your sound and another sound that are totally unfamiliar to each other and putting them together, just opens it all up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I have a track coming out with this dude Ryan Montbleu, who's like, it's almost like bluegrass type stuff.
Oh, wow.
And like we ended up doing like a really awesome track together. So like stuff like that, like I want to do more of that in the future for sure.
I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah,
truly.
I got to see Closey live at Electric Forest. She actually did 2 sets, and I believe that she was given another set because her first one, the sound, the speakers and everything, they were having technical difficulties. But then it felt so good to see her come out that second time and just crush it, just absolutely shred it. And that was the first time I ever heard her music. So, your 2 sounds would definitely just go.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That was your first time hearing her music? That must have been awesome, just live in that moment.
Yeah, and you already know that she wanted to come out just going because
with
of
the
her
redemption
bad experience the first time. Yeah, so it was incredible.
And working with other artists, like, is it like, how is the give and take? Like, or does somebody take the reins? Like, here's the idea I have, I would love for you to kind of add your own touch, or like, what is like the balancing act of creating music with another artist?
Yeah, it depends a lot of the time. It's different every time, but for me personally, a lot of the time it's been someone will send me a track, kind of like an idea or like a framework of a track, and then I'll kind of just run with it. Kind of make the track from that and then send it back to them if they want to make any tweaks. They do that. But like Collabs at the Manic Focus, we literally started with like a little sound or guitar loop or something like that, and kind of built something after that. So it really depends. It depends also if you're doing it virtually or like in the studio. Like I did a track with Sodown, and we were in the studio at my house in LA, and we wrote it in 3 days, and both of that was, we were both just going in nonstop. But then I've done tracks with, Maddie O'Neill or something. She'll just send me an idea and I kind of just finish it or something like that.
Wow. Okay. So, and then you get to like listen to her idea and then add to it and just send that away. And then somebody essentially produces it and puts it together.
Yeah. Like, so for example, like the last one we did, she sent me kind of like a 45-second clip of like different sounds and kind of just laid it out a little bit. And then I took all those sounds and kind of built a track around it.
Wow.
And then, there's other times where people have done that with my stuff. I sent Manic Focus like a 30-second clip, and he built a track around that 30-second clip. So, yeah, it varies.
Do you prefer to kind of do it in the studio and have kind of that energy flowing and like be able to create the song that way? Or does it not really matter to you whether it's, like you mentioned, virtual or physical there in the studio?
No, definitely prefer to be in the studio for sure. Yeah. It's just more of an honest collab when you're in the studio. You're both there, and it's more fun too. Because the whole time, especially for me, like when someone sends me a track and I'm working on it, I'd be like, man, I don't know if they're gonna like this, but I'm gonna keep it in here and send it to them. But like in the studio, like we'll literally just say like, meh, I don't like that, or like, yeah, this is dope. So it's like it's more streamlined and it's definitely like more fun for me at least.
Have you worked with any art? Have you worked with any artists, obviously not to be named, anonymously, that like you go in there and they're real sticklers about, what they want to hear, like making music, or if you had like pretty good experiences with virtually everyone you've made music with, or have there been artists where you're like, yeah, this is probably in your head, like this is the last time that we're going to make this together?
No, not really, man. I mean, everybody I've worked with has been super awesome. And I think like we really put that to the test too, because I did a track, it was called Friends, and we had 9 different artists on the same track.
Oh, wow.
And we all were fine with it. It was like super easy, simple. Everybody was having a lot of fun. So like we really put it to the test during that collab, and yeah, it was awesome.
That's what's the track called? Friends?
It's called Friends. That was like a COVID
gonna check
collab
that
track
one
we put out. We made it during COVID and kind of put it out, and it was really fun.
That's amazing.
So,
I feel like over COVID, like a lot of new music had come from that time, you know, like yeah, like gay bands that I had listened to and whatnot had totally like reinvented their sound through that time. So was there like a point of introspection where you were like, do, I guess this is a better question. Do you listen to your own music like after, like I understand like you probably put a ton of time into it and you're tweaking it and making sure it's completely exactly how you wanted. Does that kind of experience make you not listen to it throughout your daily life, or do you?
yeah, I don't listen to it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I imagine.
The only time I'll listen to it is when I'm working on a new track and I kind of want to compare it to like some of my older music. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just get a little weird hearing my own music. Like if I'm with someone at a party, at a party and they're playing my music, I'm like, this is weird. It's not bad. It's just like it's weird because I never thought I would hear it, in a public setting or something. But I definitely listen to it. I give it usually like a month after I put it out because I've usually heard it like 500 times.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just ready to be done with it at that point.
Yeah, like I'm just like, see ya, on to the next one, and then I'll come back to it, like after a month or two.
That's
like,
how
that's actually kind of dope.
That's kind of how I feel about when I make my like graphic designs or do anything creative. It's like I get so excited to be like, oh my God, I like this idea. I love it. And then you're running with it. And then it's like you get to a certain point, it's like, all right, I love this and I want it to be dope, but I'm over it. I just want to be finished with it, But at the same time, trying to be mindful and like still putting as much effort as you did into every second at the beginning as towards the end. So it doesn't like just kind of get thrown together.
Yeah, that's like the classic creative process is like step 1 is like, this is dope. Step 2 is like, I don't know. Step 3 is I fucking suck. And then step 4 is like, all right, maybe this isn't that bad. Step 5 is like, all right, this is dope again. It's like,
For sure.
It's like that for everything, man. Every track I make, like I'm sure doing graphic design and stuff is like kind of similar too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nick got plugged in with Lost Coast, not only because he went there, but he's also working on a piece for them.
The thing is, like,
oh yeah,
I love, like, I just found that I really like to do the creative graphic design stuff after Electric Forest. I just received so much inspiration and ideas from that and the people I met and the music and just, like that whole vibration in general. But I found that I just want to be a part of music festivals because I just really love being in that energy. And because I don't make music, if I can make art for festivals and just showcase it, like I'd like to make money off at some point and I got to figure out a way to, get that revenue coming in. But like I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, I made this painting for Spunfest and I'm doing these graphic design things. I was just wondering if you guys would be okay with me, creating something for you and making a painting. And I want to gift it to people. Like that's where I find the most joy is like making something specific for someone and just giving it to them. You know what I mean? That right there is what I get the most joy out of creating for,
Yeah, totally. And then dude, also like this is for any creative avenue. It's like, if you really love what you're doing and you're constantly doing it and you're getting better and better, like then the money will come,
Sure.
When you get into it for the money, it probably won't work out. But if you're really in it for the craft, like the money will follow.
Exactly. Right. And, yeah, the money will follow. And because I love to give it and to make it, I know because I don't care about the money that this is what I, in a sense, maybe am not supposed to do, but I don't know exactly how to word it, but it's along the lines of what you're saying with that,
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a hard time sleeping on the nights that you perform just because of the adrenaline and the rush you get from being on stage?
It depends on the show.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, no, I don't. Let me rephrase that. No, the night before, for
yeah,
sure, like the night before, if I have a big show the next day, like I just will not sleep, man. It's just impossible, running through everything in my head. But the night after the show, that's like where the relief.
Okay.
It's like I made it through, everything was fine. Like that was really awesome. Then I usually sleep like a baby the night.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've just heard, stories of other artists and whatnot, like them being on stage is such a rush and such basically a natural drug that it's impossible for them to come down from that because they're
Yeah.
so amped up. But that's honestly sounds perfect that you're able to have that release and just know that everything went perfect, and now you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, usually just leave it all on stage, man, and then give it like an hour to kind of calm down after the show, and then I'm pretty much good after that.
Have you ever had what is your fan base like? Like, what do they mean to you, and how have they reached out and let you know that you've really that they appreciate what you've done? Have you had people reach out to you and tell you your music has really changed my perspective on things, or have you had any of those kind of moments?
For sure, man. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure every artist in any genre says this about their fans, but I truly feel like, especially in this scene, like we have some of the best fans out there. They're truly caring. They understand, they need to support the smaller artists and whatever, and they support us 100%. I really saw it during COVID too.
Oh, yeah.
Like we weren't playing shows, so we were live streaming, and people were tuning into our live streams and like donating money, buying merch, showing their support any way they could. And it like really meant a lot, man. And then also, you have fans like Conrad, who end up inviting you to come play an event that they end up throwing or something like that, So it's really cool when it comes full circle like that too, I think.
That's amazing. And you said well, I think I had watched some of your YouTube videos, and you're riffing over your songs with your guitar. And is that how does that kind of manifest? As in, when you're there, do you think about how you're going to play the song? Do you try to stick to a certain? Do you try to maintain the song, or do you just have fun with the song live in person? I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I probably should try and maintain the song a little more, but I honestly just kind of just shred it.
Yeah.
You like to improv it up there?
Yeah, just improv it, man. There's when playing live, there's certain tracks that I will play along, with the melody or something like that. But also a lot of times I'm just jamming. I also know when to jam in the song though, so I won't jam over the entire thing. There's sections where I can kind of go off over. And I like to play a little differently every time, so it's not the same performance guitar-wise every show that people come to. Like they're going to see something a little different.
Yeah.
And it's more fun for me too, just
Certainly.
to kind of push myself on stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
I completely relate to that in a sense where when I'm dancing at a festival or something like that, over the weekend at Spunfest, if I think about the moves I'm doing or what I want to do, it doesn't turn out the way I want to, or I don't feel as good. But when I dance harder and flow through it and I get out of my head, that's when I really feel good, and what I really feel manifests into a better creation in a sense.
Right.
You understand?
For sure. Yep.
Wow, truly. I think this has been a great interview, and I appreciate you coming on here, Marvel. And if you want to go ahead and just plug whatever it is that you've got, I know you said you had a new EP and your Instagram, YouTube, all those things.
Yeah, it's just Marvel Years on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I got a new EP dropping on Friday, so that'll be sick. And then new album, hopefully next year. I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna get it done.
Besides Lost Coast, do you have any upcoming shows now that it's delayed? Are you going to be doing any shows prior to that, or do you have anything scheduled?
Yeah, I got basically fall tours, weekend shows, weekend warrior type shit. So I got 2 shows every weekend. I'm flying to Denver tomorrow, actually. We're doing a Marvel Years trio set on Friday in Denver, so that'll be cool. But yeah, just all pretty much hitting all areas of the country, I think, over the next 3 months. And then I think we'll end it at Lost Coast. So that'll be really cool.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's incredible. And at this point, since it's been a little bit, it's going to be rescheduled and whatnot. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of make that work out with my schedule and come down and see the show, spend some time with y'all. It'd be great.
Oh yeah. I heard the weather's gonna be nice too in December down there. So I'm stoked.
Oh yeah.
It won't be 150 degrees.
Yep.
Jeez, man. God. And the thing is, like, I love the heat, man. That's like another obviously reason we like to move to Florida. But I'm a dockhand, and like just being out there in 95 every day, you know, coming back to Ohio for these festivals and feeling that cold air felt so good. So
yeah, man, my brother does that too. That's funny. He's a dockhand in a marina in Charleston. But he'll tell me about it all the time, man. It's like 100-degree weather, and they're out there all day baking in the sun. You know, so it's definitely tiring for sure.
I respect it. I definitely respect it. That's physical labor. You know,
it's cool.
I get to work inside though. I work for a sensory deprivation float therapy company.
Nice.
Are you familiar with that?
I am, man. I got to try that. My friend actually works at one in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she's been telling me to come down there and try it. So I think I'm going to for sure.
It's truly life-changing stuff. We have people of all different walks of life come in, from veterans with mobility issues, PTSD. They come out of the tanks like different people, you know, people with extreme cases of stress and anxiety. They can't even talk to me when they show up. By the time they exit the tank, we'll have a 30-minute conversation. So I get to see firsthand, you know, the miracles that are happening inside of these float tanks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the benefits seem to be like great. So like, definitely want to try that. It's on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah. And it's becoming, you know, more popular and a little bit more, I don't want to say commercialized, because that's not really what the experience is about. It's, you know, but it's just getting more common. So you can find them really anywhere.
Yep.
But yeah. All right, guys, this has been so much fun. The MMMORE podcast with Marvel Years. Thank you so much, Marvel, again. And we'll go ahead and hear from you soon. And we're going to be on the lookout for that AP, okay?
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for having me, man. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate you, Corey. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.